So, hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast, where we're talking about the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Oh, yes,
On our 1 year, calendar year, anniversary.
Woo! It's been 12 months since we started doing this. Ish. Because it's a Monday, and we record on a Monday, so the date isn't quite exact. So, ish.
Close enough.
Yeah, release date.
Yeah. It would still be wrong.
Shh, it's fine. It's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's better than
one calendar.
One whole season.
One whole season. So yeah, it's been a year. Thanks for watching. Moving on. Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. What did we all think? Nia, you weren't here last week. You can go first.
Oh, it is. It's surprising for the lack of safety cars and yellow flags. Like, wait, was that Formula 2 I'm thinking of? It might be Formula 2.
Nia's came prepared. Ben?
Yeah.
So how it started, it was sort of nice how it finished in a way that the race was actually really good and there wasn't too much like debatable carnage in a way, considering what happened on the Friday.
Mine is car switch off. Because we just had a spell over a few laps where everyone's car just went, nah, park, not playing. Richard?
Aside from the fact that it just shouldn't have gone on anyway, it was a much better race than last year's one.
Yeah.
In terms of when you watched
actual racing.
Yeah, well, when you watched the cars go through the fast sweeping corners, they were so much closer and they were able to just stay there. Whereas last year it was like you followed them for 2 corners and it's like, goodbye.
Adios.
So, yeah, the racing was better for it. From an event point, it was a better event than last year's one, but it shouldn't have happened for obvious reasons that the official F1 count will not actually say what was, but was an incident, which was a terrorist attack not far from the circuit. Yes. So yeah, great that we're literally holding races in countries at war with themselves, basically.
I'm just disappointed we only had one race start.
Yeah, after
last year we had 4?
I was amazed when we made it through turn 1, 2, and it was clear. And I was thinking, okay, wait, maybe turn 3, because that's where Perez just yeeted everyone. And I was like, okay, no, we're clear. What's going on? What parallel universe is this?
Perez was at the front, you see. He couldn't hit anyone.
Yeah, that was fair. But still, it was a surprisingly good race. Better than I'd expected going into the weekend.
So shall we go back to the start of the weekend and the incident that everyone's referring to? We're sitting watching FP1 when suddenly we just see big plumes of smoke away from the circuit.
And drivers reporting they can smell burning.
Yeah, Max being like, is my car on fire? No.
No, but the world is.
Yeah. Which led to 4 hours of meetings on Friday night.
That ended at like 2 a.m., 2 a.m.
Yeah, Saudi time.
You know, great for the drivers having to go on that circuit the very same day.
In fairness, there was like 13 hours or something between the meetings ending and FP3 starting.
I've seen that some people say, if I can interview, some of the drivers say they go to sleep at like 9.
Yeah, but they're just lightweights.
Yeah.
And that driver was Lewis.
Yeah.
But no, touching on that, I'm feeling I know none of this will be corroborated and everyone will keep their lips shut and nothing is going to be officially confirmed or denied. But my belief is that the drivers did not want to continue. They wouldn't have been in there that long if it was just like, oh yeah, we'll just get on with it.
Yeah.
There was obviously some serious, we don't want to do this. But the Saudi Crown Prince has a bit of a history when it comes to events not going ahead when people are in his country and then not letting them leave very easily. He's done it before with, I think, WWE wrestlers, and they suddenly weren't allowed to leave the country. So,
which then led to one of the best SmackDowns of that year when none of the roster were on it.
Yeah. So I believe that the drivers didn't want to go, and then the F1 bosses came in and basically said, yeah, the Saudi Crown Prince is going to hold you prisoner unless you race.
Yeah, but as you say, it's not been corroborated. Some media sources have been like, yeah, that's not true, but we don't know what's been going on behind the scenes, really. We can only speculate. Well, free practice 2 and 3, not very much happened in those, I don't believe. We just sort of got on with it, and that led us to qualifying, and holy what occurred there? That's qualifying over the race.
Let's start Q3.
Q1 then. We start Q1.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Latifi bins it. What a shock. Moving on.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Latifi's crash, they kept showing that at his POV. But I'm not sure about you, but I don't want to watch a driver crash and see his point of view.
I thought it was quite interesting.
If it's not a serious crash, then I definitely do. Like, I think it will be quite interesting to see like how they react and everything.
It's a driver going into the barrier about 120 mile an hour, or God knows what. Just have two fat ass impacts. Let's watch his point of view as he's held there like that.
Science.
I mean, to be fair, it could be worse. We could have watched Mick Schumacher's visor cam.
Yeah, that's
They showed it from, you know, the
onboard cam,
the
yeah,
Halo,
the T-cam.
yeah, we're facing them. They showed that one when he was like that.
But they did also show the T-cam, which was honestly a little funny because he hit the wall and you just see the T-cam flying around.
Oh God!
It's like the sky, the circuit, the sky. But of course, we're glad that Mick Schumacher's okay. That was a very serious shunt. It was disappointing that he couldn't race. And it wasn't because he wasn't medically cleared. Haas decided to withdraw him because if he crashed again, they wouldn't be able to race in Australia.
I feel like it highlights an issue that Haas are going to have this year. I don't think this is going to be a one-off thing, particularly when it comes to later on in the season when we have the triple headers going on. Yeah. Haas finished last year, which means they got the absolute minimum scrapings of prize money.
Yes.
And I feel like because they've now taken such a massive step forward in terms of they're right in the mix at the upper ends of the midfield, but they don't have the same sort of money coming in to fund that sort of battle. You know, if you're talking about Alpine and Alfa Romeo, Aston Martin, you know, they've had a couple of years thereabouts. They got more prize money. They're more used to that sort of fight going on. And yes, everyone's talking about, oh yeah, there's a cost cap. It'll bring it closer. I don't think Haas are actually going to reach that. Like a couple of years back, Williams weren't spending as much as the cost cap was. When it was first announced, Williams was still spending like $20 million less than the actual cap was. So I think Haas are in a similar situation where they just can't afford to have a season like that. But
especially with a certain sponsor gone, they'd have a lot less money.
Yeah, but I feel like they can, I feel like they're suddenly a more lucrative option. I feel like they could have a new title sponsor soon because they've shown that they are right in the mix.
Just as long as it isn't Rich Energy.
I don't think they'd let themselves go there again.
We don't want to see Bad Santa near that paddock again.
Bad Santa is bad juju. Change my mind.
What happened to the rumours of Bad Santa coming back?
Those were created by Bad Santa.
That is true, yeah.
For those who
That's
aren't
not
sure,
rumours,
Bad Santa
that's
is what we call
propaganda.
William Story. The head of Rich Energy.
The idiot.
Yeah. If you don't know why he's an idiot, go and watch Drive to Survive.
Correct.
Or just look at his Twitter.
Yeah, or that.
Also true.
Or do both.
Yeah, or do both. Q3.
Well, back to Q1.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot.
Lewis
Because we started
Hamilton.
talking about Q2.
Lewis Hamilton. You can't get away from this one, mate.
Yeah, he was slow.
Lewis Hamilton out in Q1.
He did a McLaren in Bahrain.
He shows that the car's fine. It's the driver that's the problem.
You take a good driver and you put him in a car and suddenly he... You take a good driver who's been in a car for 3 years and you put him in a different car and he outperforms the other good driver who's used to good cars. Is this a coincidence? I think not. George Russell is a goat. Lewis Hamilton is absolutely mudded.
You sound like F1 Twitter again. Richard,
That's my job.
You're not allowed on social media again. Banned. No more F1 Twitter for you.
Joke's on you, I have the Discord.
Quick, someone ban him.
Not even from our server, I'm on Soph's, mate. That's all. That's why I put all mine.
Yeah.
You don't have that power.
But yeah, he was slow. He
No,
yes.
Moving on. Q2, Mick crashed. That was the big point of Q2, really.
Yeah.
And
The eliminations were pretty expected.
McLaren 11th and 12th.
Better than Bahrain.
It's improvements.
yeah,
Yeah.
but then
Small
Danny-
steps.
Well, that is the thing. Danny blocking Ocon.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. 3
Yeah.
place grid penalty.
Sag.
And then Q3, Bottas continues his Q3 streak, which goes all the way back to him starting at Mercedes. That's quite impressive, actually. I'll give him that. And
Better than Lewis Hamilton.
Checo takes pole.
On his 215th attempt.
Yeah, but he still did it.
Yeah.
He has a pole position.
It's the first Mexican driver to get a pole position. Good play.
It was exactly 11 years since his Formula One debut as well.
Everything seemed to line up for him. 11 years since his debut. The number 11 on the car. His first pole position.
Yeah.
Nicholas Latifi enters the chat.
Yeah, and then the race happens.
On the subject of qualifying as a whole, I present to you my meme. Because the timing tower kept disappearing. Especially in Q2, and it's like, I kind of need to see where the times are. And they were just, not my problem, don't care. It's like, what? It's qualifying. The lap times are literally the most important thing here.
I mean, it's allowed to break in like free practice, but not quality. That would
I
be like,
understand getting rid of it when it's the red flag and we haven't been racing for 45 minutes already, but like when it's on track, show me
it
the
was when they got
times.
rid of it during the race as well, just randomly for a few laps. It just vanished. What?
Who's where? Who's overtaken who in the lower
Yeah.
ranks? Because that's one where you can just keep an eye on what's going on. It's just the timing tower.
Exactly.
You know that Hamilton's made his way past another midfield car in his midfield car.
Yeah. Right now, it is a midfield car, but it won't be by the end of the season.
Write that down. Crop out the end bit.
Race win by the end of the season.
Nope.
Not necessarily for Hamilton, possibly Russell, but there will be a race win by the end of the season.
I'm just
In
gonna
that
go.
Mercedes.
I'm just gonna check my predictions here. By mine, I mean everyone's. Yep. So I'm the only one who's gonna win here.
That's
Because-
because you don't have them P3.
No, it's because. No, I do have them. I have them P2.
That's even worse.
Yeah. You've got them P1. Don't know what you're talking about.
I moved them.
No. That was too late. We talked about that.
No,
You missed the
that
deadline.
was not agreed.
What is written is word.
It's on our social media. It is written.
Far too late.
No.
that was way too late.
I was talking more about the fact that I have Russell ahead of Hamilton. Oh yeah, you all had Hamilton. Oh, he'll beat Russell. No. Hamilton's mudded. His time is over.
Australia, when Russell breaks down and Hamilton comes like fifth or whatever.
If it's a breakdown, it's not his fault. If it's a breakdown, it's not his fault. If it's a George, it's James, then it's not his fault. Because it's clearly just preferential treatment. And Mercedes know that Lewis is looking mudded, so they got to get him out of it. So
Anyway, Richard's deluded.
sorry, what? I can't hear you over the fact that George literally wiped the floor with Hamilton this weekend.
Oh no, I was more talking about the George's James. They've got nothing to lose. This season, I think they will just let them race the whole time. It's not like either of them are going to win the championship.
Speaking of letting them race,
Alpine! They let them race and they kept Bottas behind, and then they said, hold position, and Bottas is like, bye.
It was the fact that it was Otmar on the pit wall this weekend with Sky, and it's just like the two Alpines lap after lap just going at it, and I'm just like, he's got to be sitting there right now absolutely bricking it, because he just knows the instant they cut to him, they're just going to like collide, and he's like, so what do you think of that, Otmar? He's like, oh God, please no.
Wasn't it at one point, probably after Valtteri overtook them both, he was just sat there with his head in his hands?
No, I think that was when Nando broke
That was
down,
when,
wasn't it?
yeah, that was
Oh,
when
yeah,
Nando's
yeah.
car just went off. I do not wish to drive anymore. No.
Oh, I'll see if I can find that meme. That was hilarious. Might be in that one. Yes. Speaking of that sort of area of that sort of time period of the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not wrong, is it? That is exactly right. So
What happened to Bottas again? He finished, did he not?
no.
No.
Oh, yeah, he
retired
just,
in pit lane.
he just went into the pits and went, nah,
Yeah. Some kind of issue. So
you will not have the drink.
you yeah. Sad noises.
But yeah, so literally when I say cars go off, we lost 3 cars in 1 lap. And none of them crashed. That's the worst bit about it.
They all overheating.
We don't know.
Yeah, from the onboard of Danny Ricks, listening to it, the engine doesn't just cut. It's not like complete silence. The engine is still idling. So for me, I think Danny Ricks might be
overheating. Because it did say on his dash, cool the car.
Oh, well.
In very big letters.
Because the fact the engine was still idling and it just didn't seem to be able to engage the gears. For me, that's more either an electronics or a gearbox issue.
Oh wait, or was it Nando's that was cool the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Fernando. So sorry, Fernando was definitely overheating. That was just cool the car.
Yeah, so something could have just fizzled and just gave up there. I haven't heard Nando's on board, so I can't tell if it was like the engine just gave up or what. But
he went round most of the lap. He nearly made it back. So I don't think it was. If the engine had just seized, he wouldn't have made it round that far.
Well, I mean, we see that much from Checo when his engine seized and it was spin. So, for me, Danny Ricks is either electronics or gearbox, just because you can still hit the engine.
To Valtteri, because he did go into the pits and went, nah, finished.
I've had enough for today. Thank you, everyone, for putting me in your fantasy teams. Have minus 15 points.
Well, no, that's Tsunoda.
Well, what you get minus 15 for DNFing the race. He had other points. Tsunoda did not.
Mate, Tsunoda had 0 points.
How'd you feel about that, Nia? Yeah, me and Chris looked at the league before the start.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
You're so far behind.
Yeah, I'm closing the gap to you, Ben.
Tsunoda's fault.
Who did I have? I had Bottas.
Yeah, I have Bottas as well.
I did not. I just didn't have the entire Ferrari team. So yeah, after everyone's car conked out, we then had a bit of DRS chicken between. Well, we had a very long virtual safety car where they closed the pit lane.
So that was the. So for me, there's a couple of things I want to highlight here. When Latifi crashed, that took too long to bring out the VSE and then the safety car. It should have just been safety car straight away.
Yeah, we knew it needed the safety car.
And I was really, really personally annoyed of where Latifi crashed, because my bold prediction was that there were going to be no safety cars. And because of where he crashed, it was impossible that they weren't just going to use the safety car, because they could have just driven through the pit lane, which meant it wasn't going to be a red flag, because that was my thing. I thought there's going to be no safety cars because the crash is going to be bad enough that it's just going to be a straight red. No. Thank you, Nicholas.
They didn't even go through the pit lane, though.
No, I know. That was
they
annoying
just stayed
thing.
On the circuit.
Yeah. But yeah, that took the decision seemed to take too long for me this weekend, because that wasn't the only one. It was the one later in the race where Danny Rick and Alonso were both in the pit lane entry, and they were just like, we're not going to do anything just yet. And then like a minute and a half later, pit lane entry closed. Like Hulkenberg crossed the white line to come in. Yeah, they both crossed the white line to come into the pit. Now, let's go back to Austria last year, and who crossed the white line to come into the pits? Yuki Tsunoda. What did he get? Penalties. So I know there's a car in the way, but surely that should just mean close the pit lane.
Yeah.
If there is literally a car parked in the pit entrance, close the pit lane straight away. They did it with Magnussen, and he wasn't even in the pit entrance.
Yeah, he was nowhere near it.
So why did it take so long?
I don't know.
It should have been straight away.
Or something, you know. Oh,
Break it!
There's two cars at the pit lane.
Niels had gone for a coffee. Oh God, no. The decisions took too long.
Yeah.
Yay! More complaints about race control. Yeah.
What we haven't talked about actually is how much Checo got screwed by that safety car from Latifi.
Yeah, he was easily the biggest loser from that.
Oh yeah, because he was leading, and he came into box.
Ferrari master plan. Yeah. Play the bluff. Tell Latifi to crash. Win.
I don't actually think it was a bluff, though. I think it was one of those genuinely do the opposites.
Yeah.
And then Latifi just happened to bin it at that exact point in time.
Yeah. Literally, Checo comes in, is about to come out the pits. We just cut to Latifi in the wall. Then we get the virtual safety car, so Charles boxes. And then as he's coming out, the safety car comes out with him.
Oh, friend! Safety car friend!
The race of Sainz and Perez to the safety car line.
Which Sainz clearly won.
And then Perez just overtook him anyway.
That was another decision that took too long. Come on, we saw it on the replays, on the TV broadcast. Sainz clearly crossed the line first, so just swap them. Like, why do we have to wait for the race to restart for it to happen? Oh yeah, you can't overtake under the safety. It's an order. If it's an order from race control, that should be null and void and completely overrides the you can't overtake under the safety car. Beep. You know?
From what I understand, well, you can't overtake under the safety car, but also what Crofty was saying on the broadcast was that race control are no longer getting in contact to say the position back. It's now down to the teams.
That was for when
possession back.
That was for when you leave the track and gain an advantage.
Yeah, I think
this is different. This is different because this is a safety car line. This is a full-on, just a separate rule. That's not you've left the track and gained an advantage. That's you've technically overtaken someone after the safety car line. So, and what's the point of having VAR if they're not going to actually like enforce anything? I didn't see any of that this weekend. There was no look. We've gone to the video. We can clearly see that Sainz was ahead at that line, so give him the position back. So again, another thing that's just taking too long. It should have been done before the race restarted. Sainz made that point. Yeah, noting it is nothing though. That's literally us seeing it.
Yeah, they noted it, and they were going to put it under investigation, but Checo gave the position back straight away.
Yeah, but like too late.
Yeah, that was it should from Checo.
No, it's clever from Red Bull. It's them being arses again, technically. Like, am I wrong? Because yes, they're in a fight with Ferrari, but the race control people should be enforcing it. Then, if they know they're going to be an arse and do it after the restart, just tell them no, just do it now. Because Sainz would have then had an opportunity to at least attack Verstappen instead of waiting for Checo to get the hell out of his way, so he can actually be where he was supposed to be at the race restart.
Yeah. But this is race control we're talking about.
AKA beep, beep, beep. Stupid.
So yeah, Checo lost out majorly. It was going to be handed a big time penalty for overtaking under the safety car had he not given the position back. I'm trying to think, what was it he got in Imola last year? Was it a 10-second time penalty?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, but that was 2 cars.
True. Oh yeah, that one was horrible. He just went, bye.
Whee!
And yeah, then the 2 cars switched off and we just had like a lap and a half under double waved yellows. And then eventually they went, oh, VSC. Pit lane entry close. And at least everyone followed the big flashy red crosses this week.
Yeah, but they just brought out so late that 2 people had already gone in anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah, they got followed in Formula 1.
Yeah.
Formula 2.
That was a different matter, and there was a lot of confusion around that one because the race director gave them the opposite instruction on multiple occasions.
But not according to the race director.
Ah, so he is lying now.
But one of them are.
We shall see. Everything's recorded, so you know.
Haha, not according to the stewards, it's not. So we were going to say Formula 2.
Press the pause button on that one.
Alt F4, delete.
We were going to say Formula 2 for next week, but we'll talk about this little bit of Formula 2 just now.
Because it's somewhat relevant.
Yeah.
The first one of the season.
Let's go.
Oh yes, this will be the first like proper steward doc in the season. We didn't have any last week. Woo! So here we go. Steward's documents. Woo! They're back.
Everyone's favourite. Said no one ever.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
And my day is ruined.
Right. Okay. Where is it? The claims of the FIA.
Sorry, lump in my throat.
It should just say one sentence. We do what we want. That's it.
The radio conversation between Prema and the race director, which is not logged or recorded, is not a form of communication acknowledged by the regulations, happened sometime around the posting of message B, which is safety car, pit lane entry closed.
Someone's just deleted the audio logs. Changed my mind.
So, yeah, they've just been like, it's not in the regulations, so we don't record it. Lol.
He's 100% just deleted everything. Because they didn't want controversy this early in the season for another race director making another mistake.
Another championship.
That's what they've learned to do. They're just like, just delete it.
No. Well, the good news is we're getting a new race director in Formula One in 2 weeks.
Whoop whoop.
Ooh. I can't remember his name.
Eduardo Freitas.
Him.
You're welcome.
He's coming to Formula One.
Eduardo Freitas. Niels Wittich are the two alternating ones, and the permanent senior advisor is Herbie Blash.
Can we please get the FIA team radio to Herbie?
Can we just please get me on the team, because I clearly can remember everything.
See, I remember the regulations, just not the names of people.
It's like to get in the team, you'll have to do a bias test. Be like, Lewis Hamilton, select time penalty.
And if you don't click 0, you're just not allowed.
Failed.
Nicholas Latifi, select crashing lap. Which one will it be this week?
The bottom option, it gives you a list of numbers, and then the bottom option is whichever affects the race outcome.
Percentage of race outcome.
Nicholas, no.
Just has a one light on his dashboard that lights up, and it's like crash.
Latifi has crashed. Do you? Safety car, red flag. Safety car.
You've received a voice communication from Toto Wolff saying no safety car. What do you do? Flip
Virtual
the bird.
Safety car. But yeah, so that apparently race communications to the race director are now just not recorded anymore, or at least they're not in Formula 2.
I feel like that might change soon.
Yes. So we got the VSC. They closed the pit lane, and then they eventually opened the pit lane, and Lewis Hamilton boxes with 9 laps to go. He's on to a set of mediums. Why?
Because Mercedes are dumb.
Yeah, pretty much. Moving on. We then had a quite interesting game of DRS Chicken. Same as what we had last year in Saudi Arabia.
Notice how when either of those two drivers came up against a... it was Magnussen and Hamilton that I wanted to point out, because Magnussen was going incredibly slowly and Hamilton was approaching at a rate of knots. And did Hamilton rear-end him? No! So why did Hamilton rear-end Verstappen last year?
Title fight.
Mic drop.
Title fight.
Exit building left.
Different bit of the circuit.
It's the same bit.
No, because Lewis went past Magnussen actually at the corner.
Yeah, it's different. It was different circumstance as well.
It was
Because Max had to get.
They were still both slow-moving cars, and Hamilton was going past either of them. And Hamilton just crashed deliberately.
Right. To the people that also say, "Oh, Verstappen can fight Leclerc, so why couldn't Hamilton and Verstappen fight last year?" You're just melons, right? Because there's one way that works is because Hamilton and Verstappen were fighting for the title at the end of the season, right? That's pretty much when the crashes happened, and you could see that it was going to happen. And to be honest, if Leclerc and Verstappen, if Verstappen and Leclerc stay as they are and carry on fighting, that will happen as well.
You both are neurologists.
You are. It's just.
I don't disagree with you. It's just the way you put it.
It's annoyed me so much just seeing Twitter about, why couldn't Verstappen and Hamilton fight last year?
Because it's Hamilton.
Crash. Hamilton's fault. Always causing the crash.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but you remove Hamilton from the equation and suddenly none of the crashes are happening. A coincidence? I think not.
But in fairness, Lewis and Max didn't crash in rounds 1 or 2 last season.
No,
when they did crash.
But Lewis got handed a race win.
And so did Max.
No, not in the first 2 rounds of the season. That's what we're talking about here.
Well, no, he wasn't handed a race win. He got overtaken.
I'm allowed to go off the track 29 times. You do it 1 time, you get penalized. That is fair.
Everyone knows you can't overtake off the track.
But you can do it when you're driving on your own.
Or else
totally fair.
Everyone would just take the Johnny Herbert line into turn 1.
Someone should have, just to make a point of like, well, Lewis can run wide, so I just ran wide in turn 1. The wide bit was the inside, however, so, why not?
Mazepin could have took the Johnny Herbert line. He still would have been 3 seconds off the pace.
Mazepin could have taken the Johnny Herbert line and still would have crashed into the wall at turn 3.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, Formula 2, I think it was either Formula 2 or 3 last weekend, they did actually take the Johnny Herbert line because of where a car had broken down. The safety car led them across the Johnny Herbert line. That was gold to watch, just shortcut. And it must have been Formula 2 because Alex Jakes actually called it the Johnny Herbert line on comms.
And then did say that's somewhat of a niche reference.
Yeah.
We got it, it's fine.
Yeah, we knew what you were talking about. Where were we? Oh yeah, DRS
chicken, yeah.
So the first attempt went very much like Bahrain. Max goes past, Leclerc just goes bye and goes straight by him. The second attempt, they get alongside and just slam on the brakes. Both lock up, and then Charles just goes bye, drives off. And then eventually Max wised up to it, got the DRS to close right up to Leclerc and just didn't overtake him. Came around the corner and then just drove off and won the race. The end.
Yeah. It'd be an interesting thing this season, seeing the DRS chicken tactics.
I think the DRS is going to get banned.
No.
Not this season, but for next season. Because
well, they said they wanted to be able to design these cars in such a way that they didn't need DRS anymore. Mm-hmm. So the end result is no DRS, but that's at a point where the cars can just overtake easily without it. So
yeah,
we're a ways off that yet, but we're heading in the right direction.
We are.
Yeah. For now, we got interest in driver tactics.
Yeah, I feel like the chicken aspect may get clamped down on.
Yeah.
In terms of, it's somewhat dangerous to suddenly just stamp on the brakes. I know they were alongside each other at that point, but whatever. But, if you just snatch one tire and something happens and, spear off one side. Unlikely with cars, but, I've seen stranger things happen. But yeah, so if we see too much of it, I feel like the FIA might step in. But if it's just
one of those directives in the race director's notes.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah. And then just to round off the race, Albon and Stroll got bored and decided to have a collision.
Albon's got a penalty for that.
Albon has a 3-place grid penalty. I think it's a little harsh.
I think that's harsh because I think it's Stroll's fault.
Very harsh, yeah.
Yeah. From TV, it looked like Stroll turned in on Albon.
Yep.
Like, it was significantly alongside, and Stroll just went, boom.
Yeah. And instead, Albon's been given a 3-place grid penalty and 2 penalty points. The standard number.
It was Hamilton pulled a similar move against Magnussen, and Magnussen just stuck it around the outside. I'm pretty sure he kept it.
Yeah, because it becomes the inside of 2.
Yeah, but Stroll's like, nah, but we're off Albon.
But we've seen on numerous previous occasions that Stroll doesn't know how a rear view mirror works. So,
do you know who we forgot to talk about? Zhou Guanyu.
He had some issues.
So he got a 5-second time penalty for
front
overtaking
Jackman.
off the track.
Oh my god!
And then the front Jackman just goes no,
and then messes up the pit stop.
Yeah,
because he drops the car as the 5 seconds are up, and then can't get the car back up again. So the spare Jackman has to come in. Oh my god!
And so Guan Yu got a drive-through penalty.
Yeah,
he could have been disqualified.
I did read the document. That was
The document is a great read. Where they do just say it's the team's fault though, which is nice of them.
Yeah, and because of that, he doesn't get any penalty points. So
yeah,
that would have been exceptionally harsh.
4 penalty points, but I was in the car. So yeah,
exactly. You were touching the car.
Yeah.
I love that this starts every document. You would like to hope so. The stewards reviewed the video evidence well. But yeah, so he came in, stopped. They raised the car, and that counts as working on the car. And then they're like, yeah, we could have disqualified him, but we feel that would have been harsh. So drive-through penalty.
I mean, at least they've, justified their answer there.
Yeah.
Like, it's a rule, you're not allowed to work on a car. Yes, nothing happened to the car, but you still worked on it. So, mandatory penalty.
Prepared the car for the pit stop.
Yeah.
So.
And their reasoning for giving Albon the penalty is that he was trying to overtake Stroll on the inside by braking late.
That's kind of how it works.
Yeah. By executing the maneuver, he locked up and collided with car 18 at the apex, and they determined that he was wholly or They haven't decided whether it was totally his fault or just slightly more his fault.
I also want to say that he's been given a 3-place grid penalty for wiping out one single car. Mm-hmm. And actually, that car finished the race. He wiped out himself.
Mm-hmm.
Valtteri Bottas wiped out half the field in Hungary and got a 5-place grid penalty.
This will be explained. Penalties are distributed by the...
This will be explained. Michael Massey.
Penalties are distributed judging by the incident, not the outcome. So the incident is actually only Bottas hitting Norris. They don't care that Norris then goes on to hit both Red Bulls. That's not part of it. It's only the thing
should
of Norris.
Be. But if you're involved in an incident, as it is determined by a road traffic collision, it's not a road traffic accident because accident implies nobody's at fault. Oh, those references. If you're involved in a collision, the incident, as is determined in the report, is from the first action to the last action. So if car A hits car B spins and gets rammed by car C, and then car B then goes on to hit on like D, E, F, G. It's not until the last vehicle involved in the crash has stopped moving that the end of the incident is determined. That's the incident, the chain of events from when the first thing happened to when the last thing finishes. So for me, the incident is when Bottas absolutely Norris to when he comes to a stop.
Well, the FIA don't agree.
Well, I think I should have a job there and not the people that do. Because I have more common sense than them.
Because under that argument, you're going to be one of those people on F1 Twitter that are like, yeah, they had to take into account that Max hit the wall at 51 Gs and giving Lewis a 10-second time penalty.
I know, but Lewis understeered, so Lewis missed the apex.
Lewis he got a 10-second time penalty.
Lewis was wholly at fault.
Predominantly.
Wholly.
The stewards disagree.
The stewards are idiots. We've just discovered this. We haven't just discovered this. We've just revalidated this. We discovered this a long time ago. Yeah, this is true.
If Valtteri had not retired from the race, he would have also received a 10-second time penalty.
Which would be ludicrous. Because it should be 30 seconds at minimum.
Had Max not retired from Monza, he would have got a 10-second time penalty. They were fond of the 10-second time penalty last season. And when you convert that to a grid drop, it's 5 places.
It's just
yeah. 3 places is 5 seconds. 5 places is 10 seconds. 10 places is you're really up.
Or you changed a component.
Or you changed a component. And I think that's the most severe grid drop you can get, because when you start getting to 15, it just becomes pointless.
Yeah.
But you just get told, back of the grid. On you go. Anyway. Why did we get onto this run? Oh yeah, the Albon thing. And so that basically screwed Leclerc because it meant DRS was disabled on lap 49 on the start-finish straight because there was a yellow flag.
Yeah.
And then the race ended. The classification was as follows. If it will let me scroll, there we go. Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Ocon, Norris, Gasly, Magnussen, Hamilton, Zhou, Hülkenberg, Stroll, and Albon. And the non-finishers, Bottas, Alonso, Ricciardo, Latifi, Tsunoda, with Leclerc taking the fastest lap of the race. That was classification.
They should have put Schumacher as did not start as well.
No, because he withdrew from the event. So the car was never entered to the race to not start it. That pretty much sums up the Formula One for that weekend. Let's do F1 play. Did everyone remember to put in their F1 play predictions?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Nia doesn't sound too confident about that.
I vaguely remember doing
Jesus Christ, I got 2.
I put mine in 8 minutes before the formation lap.
Ooh, I got 2.
You're allowed to do it before the race even.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
get to
you can do it right up until lights out.
God.
I think I did mine not long after qualifying. Or just before qualifying. So I couldn't remember when. Because
I put Mick Schumacher as the first to retire.
Yeah, Mick Schumacher didn't enter the race. So Ben got 2, Nia got 2, Richard got 3, and for the second week running, I got 5.
Gee.
I will take a 5. And you can now enter your predictions for the Australian Grand Prix.
Danny Rick's winning. With
the new track layout. Thus concludes F1 play. I'm assuming Richard's still busy, so let's do fantasy. Nia is in last. Nia's very much in last.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's mainly because of Bahrain. The fact that you scored a 46 last week really didn't help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't looked at it until
as
we were recording this.
So, if we go into the league, the scores are as follows. Come on, F1 fancy. Look, there we go. Ben leads the way with 430 points. Richard is in second with 315. Then it's me with 311. And Nia with 162.
That's
to
peak.
put that into context, I scored 158 in the Saudi Arabian race.
I scored 187.
Rookie numbers, mate. Rookie numbers.
But what I mean is I scored nearly as many points as Nia has in 2 races in 1 race.
I scored 209.
Shut up, Richard. No one asked you.
You suck.
I mean, there's still a 115 point gap to me, so
They'll not last.
All part of the great Ricardo master plan.
And Chris is only 4 points behind you.
Yeah, I leapfrogged him this time. All right, I got off to a bad start. We've recovered it well,
You
and
got
now
off
it's
to
just
a bad start.
we've got the momentum. Yeah, but I've recovered. You ain't.
I know.
I've got momentum on my side now.
Until a Ferrari double DNF just shafts your team.
That shafts all 3 of my teams. Okay,
Mm.
they're in all of them.
Richard, can you now do predictions?
Yeah. Let's start with the bold prediction. For we only had one successful bold prediction.
Okay.
Ben said McLaren points.
Genius at work.
They did indeed score points. Oh no, Lapo Bingo is a joint first place between Ben and myself.
However, I joint winner.
Because you said that Lance Stroll would be lapped first, and he was.
Oh,
And that he would finish a lap down, which he did. But I had the closest lap counter because I said 36, and he would finish 1 lap down, which he did. He was indeed lapped on 49.
Was no one else lapped before that?
No,
no.
because of the safety cars.
Yeah, I think Danny
And the
Rick
pit
would
stop.
have, but then Latifi crashed.
Yep. So no, that was it. And I went through the whole thing on the race replay, and lap 49 because he got hit. He hit Albon. I'm sticking to that story. He hit Albon because of that. He was going so slowly, he got lapped. So yeah, it was Lance Stroll.
Other predictions, please.
Podiums. Pole and podium. Nobody got pole. Nobody said Perez. Awkward. Last place, Nia. 1 point.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that's what you get for putting 2 Mercedes on the podium.
Oh. Nia, why have you done this? Even I didn't.
It's not my week.
Evidently. Second last place is me. Because I had all of the 3 correct drivers, but in all of the wrong order.
Oh.
Damn it. I predicted a Ferrari 1-2. It's not a Ferrari 1-2. Joint second place is Chris and Sonia, because they made the exact same prediction of Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz. So you got 5 points each for that. And then just out in front, because you said Verstappen, Leclerc, and then Perez, you got 6 points, and that's Ben.
Yeah. It would have been better if Latifi didn't crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. From the Discord server.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah.
From the Discord server, we have joint winners this week. So we'll apply the Formula One qualifying rule of if you set the
Whoever
same
said your
time,
lap
whoever
time
said it
first,
first. So the winner this week is Mason, who predicted the perfect podium, and also De Wolf, who also predicted the perfect podium. And in
But who
third
did it
place,
first?
Mason did it first. That's why I read it out in that order. And in third place, scoring back-to-back podiums, is Ardun, who scored 6 points because they said Verstappen, Leclerc, Magnussen.
Magnussen's a bold one.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to complain against it. They've still got 6 points up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was all the predictions for this week. We
will
don't
do
need any
for
predictions.
Australia
Oh,
next week.
hallelujah. Breather.
I think that's us.
Yeah.
Is Formula E on this weekend?
Maybe.
I
I
think.
think it's next week.
Oh, does that mean we've got Formula E and Formula One next weekend?
I think so.
Who at the FIA scheduled this?
Yeah, it's next weekend.
It is next weekend. No, Richard, you'll still have to watch it.
No, don't. Play the ignorance card.
Australia's on at ungodly hours of the morning.
Yeah, and then therefore I'll be asleep when the Formula E's on. What a shock.
No.
Yeah, practice is at like 4 a.m. Obviously, I'm going to need a siesta.
Can we also use that we've not talked about one single Formula E race this year?
Since it happened, we did predictions and then we just completely ignored it. So I therefore vote that we completely ignore all future Formula E races. All those in favour say aye.
Aye. Yeah.
So we're split in half, so no.
All those against say no.
Yeah.
No objections from the crowd. Perfect. For those on audio only, I have muted them on Zoom, so they could not object.
But those on video saw the objections.
I will simply cover it.
Okay, deleted.
Can just insert an overlay. What I'll do is I'll rotate it so it just looks like you're...
Also coming back soon is Richard and I's 2-player career mode that we started like last year and then stopped.
Terms and conditions apply.
We're going to try and restart it this week.
Emphasis on the word try.
Yeah. We've got a new calendar that doesn't feature Monaco, so that's good. Thank you to the F1 game for adding more tracks and allowing me to delete Monaco from the calendar. So yeah, we'll be starting again and just pretending like the first one didn't happen. Great. Formula One.
Very nice.
Very nice. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think it's just we'll be back next week to discuss many things.
So all going well, Richard and I will be back through the week to do some racing on F1 2021. We'll announce it on social media when we're going live on Twitch, etc. If
There we go, that's the right word.
If that doesn't happen, then we'll see you next week.
I think the plan is to discuss support series, probably also a little bit of Drive to Survive, considering we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
And obviously our Australian predictions.
Yeah, so next week is a catch-up on Formula 2 and 3 so far, Drive to Survive, Australian Grand Prix, and if we do go live, Nia and Ben will laugh at Richard and I driving on F1 2021.
Yay. Crushed again.
Sad noises.
That sums up everything we've got planned. We'll see you next week. Ta-ra.
Thanks for 1 year of listening to us waffle on.
Yeah.
Here's to many more.
Goodbye.